Hi, and welcome to the second of two videos showing you how to make the Warped Square Pendant. This video is part 2 and shows you how to make the large warped square and the bail. This is Janet Palumbo for Two Beads Are Better Than One. The first video shows you how to make the small warped square. To make the large warped square, use 7 or 8 feet of thread and follow the part 1 video. Except slide the round 1 beads to the center of the thread, leaving a 3 or 4 foot tail, and stop after round 12. This video begins halfway through round 12. It has a different round 13 than the small square. The first video shows how to make the small square, which forms the top of the pendant. The large square is started in the same way. So complete your large square up until round 12. Somewhere in round 12, your thread is going to get too short. When it's about 4 inches long, not before that, you want to stop and take the needle off your working thread and put the needle on the long 3 or 4 foot tail thread. You then have to sew through the beadwork to bring this tail thread to the point where the short working thread is coming out. So you want to bring that tail thread out the same bead where you left the working thread. So just maintaining the thread path, sew through the beadwork, 1 bead at a time. Until you reach the bead with the short end of thread. Once you have both thread ends exiting the same bead, you can tie the short and the long ends into a square knot, and then you continue with your long thread. Here is round 12 of the large square completed, and notice that you have 6B in the middle of each side. And to make round 13, you're going to start with 2A in the corner, then a B, a C, 7B, a C, and a B. And you're going to follow that sequence on all 4 sides, and remember to step up at the end. Here is round 13 completed. And to make round 14, you're going to start with 2A in the corner, a B, a C, and then 8B in the center, a C, and a B. And you're going to follow that sequence on all 4 sides, and remember to step up at the end of the round. Here is round 14 completed. In round 15, you're going to just use the C beads along the sides. So you'll still put 2A in each corner and then fill in each side with the C colored beads. Do that on all 4 sides and then step up. Here is round 15 completed with the C colored beads along every side. Now we're at the last round in the large square, and as in the small square, corners 1 and 3 are going to have 2A, and corners 2 and 4 will have a D bead. So begin by picking up 2A and making a herringbone stitch in corner number 1. Then we're going to fill in along the sides, the first side, with D beads. All the way along the first side, in corner 2, and along the next side. Now we've reached corner 3, which is opposite corner 1, and we have the D beads along the side, in corner 2, and along the next side. So at corner 3, opposite corner 1, string 2A and make a herringbone stitch. Then complete the round by putting 1D in every stitch along the side, in corner 4, and along the last side, and step up at the end. Here's round 16 completed, and notice that your thread is exiting an A. You have a D on corners 2 and 4, and 2A in corners 1 and 3. Now it's time to add the 8mm crystal. String 1A, the 8mm crystal, and 1C. You're going to pass back through the crystal and through the 1A that you strung, and pull that tight. Now you're going to pass through the other A in that herringbone stitch at the end. Fold corner 3 so that it meets corner 1, and pass up through the nearest A on the end. Now to connect that corner, you're going to pass through the A, the crystal, and the C that you just added. So passing through the A and the crystal, and then pass through that C on the end, and back through the crystal and the 1A. And there I'm passing through both the crystal and the 1A, and then sew down into the other A in corner 3. Now you've attached your crystal, and you're ready to secure your thread ends and then trim them. To secure the thread, make several double half hitch knots in between the beads. You sew between the beads and then catch that loop of thread with your needle to make a half hitch knot. Pull gently and watch where the knot goes. Make sure it goes in between the beads so that you won't see the knot. Make 2 half hitch knots and then sew through a couple more beads and repeat. Be careful you don't catch your thread on the crystal or any of the drop beads. So here's a second set of double half hitch knots. Catch the little loop of thread and guide the knot in between the beads. When you're done making the knots, you can trim the thread. Make sure you secure and end the other thread end as well. Now we're ready to connect the large square to the small square. And you have thread left at the end of the small square. It's exiting an A on the end. We're going to start by making a round of herringbone stitch at the bottom of the small square. So pick up 2A and make a herringbone stitch. With the square folded so that corners 1 and 3 meet, then pass up through the nearest A in the opposite corner and string 2A and make another herringbone stitch. Then you just need to connect the 2 sides by flipping the beadwork over and passing up, really stepping up through 2A at the end. Now you're ready to connect the 4A that we just added to the bottom of the small square to the 4A in round 1 of the large square. These will be the 4A right at the center of your large square. Line up the large and small squares, and with the thread exiting the A on the end of the small square, pass through the opposite A right at the center of the large square. You'll then pass up through the next A in the large square, and then up through the next A in the small square. Now you've connected the 2A on one side of the small square to 2A on one side of the large square. Flip it over and repeat on the other side. So you'll pass down into the first A in the small square, and then down into the A opposite in the large square, up through the next A in the large square, and up through the other A in the small square. Now you've connected the 4A at the base of the small square with the 4A at the center of the large square. It's a good idea to repeat the thread path to reinforce this connection. So going back to the first side, pass through the last A in the small square, the A at the center of the large square, be careful the thread doesn't get caught on any of the beads. Then pass up through the next A in the large square and up through the other A at the base of the small square. Flip the beadwork over and do the same thing on the other side. Pass down through the last A in the small square, and down through the A nearest in the large square, up the next A in the large square, and finally through the other A at the base of the small square. Pull that tight and you have a secure connection. Now you can make half hitch knots to secure the thread. You can rewind this video to see how I made the double half hitch knots when we added the crystal at the base of the large square. The procedure is the same. You want to secure and end all of your thread ends and then trim the threads. The bail is optional for this pendant because you could just thread the necklace through the small square. But if you'd like to make a bail, here's how to do it. It's a herringbone stitch bail, and herringbone stitch begins with ladder stitch. So string 2A and pass them down your thread. Pass through both of the A again. Leave a 4 or 5 inch tail. And sit them side by side and pass through the first one more time. Now you have both thread ends coming out of a single bead. To make the herringbone stitch, string 2A and pass through the other A in the first row. This makes row 2, which is herringbone. Now you have to turn your thread around. And to do that, we're going to pick up 1D and then pass through the last A. And that's row 2 completed. Row 3, string 2A and make a herringbone stitch by passing down through the next A. Then the turnaround, pick up 1D and pass up through the last A. You're going to repeat row 3 until you have a strip of herringbone with 14D on each side. Then you're ready to connect the two ends of the bail. To connect the bail, you're going to add a row of herringbone stitch at the bottom, same as we did at the bottom of the small square. So pick up 2A and pass through the next A to make one herringbone stitch. Then fold the strip in half so that the two ends meet. Then you're going to pass up through the nearest A at the other end of the herringbone strip. Make sure your thread doesn't get caught on one of the drop beads. Then pick up 2A and make one more herringbone stitch by passing through the adjacent A. Now to connect the two, step up through 2A Now you're ready to connect the bail to the small square at the top of the pendant. And you're going to connect the 4A at the bottom of the bail with the 4A in round 1 of the square. These are the 4A right at the center of the small square. The procedure is exactly the same as when we connected the two squares, so I'm going to go through this quickly. So pass through the A at the center of the square, then pass up through the adjacent A and up through the other A on that side of the bail. Flip the work over and connect the beads on the other side. So pass down through the A on the bail and through the A that is opposite it on the square. Then pass up through the adjacent A in the square and up through the A in the bail. Then you're ready to repeat the thread path to reinforce it and secure and trim your thread. And here's the pendant completed and ready to string on a necklace. I hope you've enjoyed making it. Please check out our Etsy shop for more patterns and our blog for helpful tips. And thank you for watching.